Welcome back to another episode of the Many Faces of Cancer podcast. I am your host, Melissa Grosboll, and joining me today is Sandy Duarte. And Sandy is an award-winning actress who recently added stage 4 cancer survivor to her remarkable life journey. A passionate yogi, creative, and producer, she is dedicated to inspiring others through her experiences. While undergoing her battle with cancer, Sandy authored a poignant book titled Cancer Ramblings: From Why to Why Not, offering hope and guidance to those facing similar challenges. In addition to her work in the creative arts, Sandy is passionate about the healing arts through various modalities such as yoga, breathwork, meditation, and sound bathing to promote wellness and resilience. Newly appointed as sound curator and program director for Global Sound Bath, debuting in Miami this December, she is honored to come on board and extend her love for the healing power of sound, something that deeply supported her own healing journey through cancer. By blending her talents in film and literature with her commitment to the healing arts, Sandy empowers individuals to find strength and community in their struggles, to find purpose through pain, demonstrating how overcoming mental barriers can lead to powerful results in physical healing. Her story is a testament to the transformative power of hope and the enduring strength of the human spirit. So welcome to the show, Sandy.
Thank you, Melissa. Such a joy, honestly, and an honor to be able to speak with you and sit and share with a fellow survivor and a strong woman.
Thank you. I'm so glad to have you here. And we were just talking before we got on. I am in the process of reading your book, and it is just already helping me so much. And I can't wait to really dive into all of that. But first of all, where do you hail from, Sandy? Where are you in the world?
Right now, I'm in Los Angeles, where I call home, and I'm a Canadian living in Los Angeles. So I don't know if you can hear my accent, but a little touch. But no, so yes, I'm here on the West Coast.
Okay. And then will you be going to Miami in December to do that whole thing?
Right? Yes. It's the big pilot of a global sound bath, and it's going to be an incredible week during Art Basel. And, fusing in the medicine, the art that is God, sound, and the healing power of that mixed in with art and the vibrations of a beautiful time in the city. So yeah, I'll be there.
I went to college for 3 years down in Miami. So it was a beautiful city way back, way too long ago.
It'll be my first time. I've been to Tampa, but I haven't been to Miami. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And December is a really good time to be there. It's
really
not so hot down there in December.
Okay.
But you being in Los Angeles, I mean, you're used to the heat, but not necessarily the humidity that comes with the Florida heat.
Yeah, no. So I'm happy to hear that.
All right. Well, we're going to get into all of this stuff about sound because I'm kind of just starting to learn more about, sound baths and the bowls and whatever they're called and stuff. So we're gonna dive into all of that. But first, I want to take you back a couple of years ago to when you were first diagnosed. Like, what was going on? What led you to get checked and get diagnosed? So kind of take us back there to the beginning of all of this.
Yes. One thing I will say is just to start it off right off the top is don't ever neglect a cough if it goes on for too long. It's the simplest thing that your body's like crying, telling you something. I got to Los Angeles, I think it was June 2023. But the times before, I was traveling back and forth a lot between East Coast Canada, Toronto, and LA. And they're different climates. And every time I'd get here to LA, I would have some kind of bronchial thing. And I would take antibiotics, it would be fine. So I was used to that kind of effect on my lungs. Like it's just different terrain. This time, it was November 2023, I had a cough. The antibiotics helped a little bit, but I thought, something's really off. December came, it got worse, and I felt weaker. I felt a decline. January came, got worse. And I'm like not one to really jump to the doctor too quickly because I like to see what's going on. I tried natural things, all the stuff, I'm not a panicker with that because I live a pretty healthy life. I would never think cancer. But at most I thought maybe I have walking pneumonia or something. it got so bad that I couldn't even pull my steer my wheel to get my car out of the spot parking spot. So something is really messed up. So I go to my doctor and I said, listen, there's something up with my lungs. Like, this is not right. I need an MRI. I get an MRI. She calls me. She goes, they want to see you again. Something's showing on the scan. This was late. No, this was March. 2024 now. So if you can see that window, November, December-ish, then it really hit January. And then I was like, oh my God, what's going on February? So anyway, I do the second MRI and I get that call from the doctor that people talk about, like that movie scene where I know something's not right. It's not the voice of good news. And she goes, yeah, I'm calling you because you have to go to the hospital right now.
Oh my
There's
God.
Yeah, there's a huge mass. That's all she said. I'm like, I still didn't buy it. I thought it was like a little growth, but not cancer, like those benign things that can happen in your body. I still think it's my lungs. Anyway, I go to the hospital. One of my besties, I say, can you meet me there? Like, it was like the evening. I thought I'd be in and out. I never left. I went in. It was biopsies, all sorts of tests, all the stuff that had to, because the x-ray was showing a huge mass, a 10 by 15 on my left side chest. And basically
10 by
the
15?
size of a picture frame, my friend back home likes to compare it to. What happened was I couldn't breathe and it was really bad, is because it collapsed my left lung. So my left lung was in the black, it was gone. So that mass it was growing so fast that it collapsed, that, and it was moving at a rapid pace. And so I was diagnosed 2 weeks later, because it was all these tests that have to be made, to be specific. And it was all the things, plus trying to care for my lung with the chest tube and all the mess, that they diagnosed me with stage 4 non-Hodgkins lymphoma. And
Wow.
that's where the journey, after that tumultuous 2 weeks, and I'm not a blood person, a hospital person. My sister is very strong with that stuff. Me, I see blood, I want to pass out. I mean, the biopsy through the chest with your eyes open. I mean,
Ugh.
that was the moment, Melissa, when I knew they were coming to get me. I cried, the whole floor. Ah! I let it out. It was my baby moment, because I'm like, I got to gut check this now. So I let it out, and then I had to find the stoicism inside me to rise above my body. And I think I have a quote in the book, to be the master of silence and sound, or whatever. I can't even remember. But I took that quote with me so I could just check out when I was in that room, because it was like, they're going with this big ass tube, this little thing, it's skinny, but going through your chest to pull out the bits so they can discover what is this mass. I did it with my eyes open.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, yeah, when I got the diagnosis, that was the beginning of the chemo journey. Yeah.
Wow. So you said that you had been having this cough when you went back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast. Could that have been the beginning of it, that you just thought was, changing climates, or was it not?
Who knows?
Okay.
That's a good. It could have been anything. And the thing is, my doctors couldn't figure out, what did they say, because of the timeline or something. They couldn't assess how or what, when or why.
Okay. But it was
And
growing very fast, obviously.
yeah,
So
very fast.
maybe it wasn't.
Yeah. So who knows? It's a good question, but never take a cough for granted. Not to scare people. Doesn't mean, oh, you have a cough. Don't think, oh, cancer. But just when the body cries for something in the language that it speaks, which is in English, it's
Mhm.
speaking in its ways, just go get it checked out. Like, yeah, I wish I would have been worried sooner or something, but my body was crying, and so be it. This was my experiment and experience that was required for my life journey.
Right. Everything happens at the right time, and maybe you needed those couple extra months
Yeah,
for your body to prepare for what it was going to have to go through after that.
totally. And I don't question it is what it is, and I think we talked about this when we were chatting, a little while ago. And I don't mean to be insensitive when I say this. And my father, he does not like when I say this. But for me personally, and this is not to say that it's a beautiful experience or to be toxic positivity, but cancer was a great gift to me. It was the ultimate teacher of transforming your pain and your mindset into the presence of your power. And so for me, that's how I took the experience. So it was meant to be what it was.
Well, and I say a lot of times that cancer sucks. Like there's no other way to put it that's at
No.
least PG for this conversation. cancer sucks, and it
Mm.
can also be a wonderful gift. And if you don't want to call it a gift, like I went through stages. So I started with, okay, cancer has been a wake up call. It was a wake up call for me to look at my health, to look at my life, to look at everything that I was doing. And then through the whole process, it turned into a
Mm.
gift. Like
Mm.
and I think just about anybody, maybe not anybody, but most people will tell you that going through the experience of cancer, you come out of it a different person. And I don't necessarily want to say most people, but a lot of people, like, it changes them for the better. And people will go back and say, well, I wouldn't wish this on myself. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Mm.
I learned so much from it, and I'm so glad that it happened.
Yes. I love that you say that, and that our process of achieving that sort of reflection is our own process. Some of us, it's sooner or later, some of us maybe not. It's okay. The journey is so different for everybody, but it really, to me, there's cancer and then there's your mind. And if you were to tell me which one's harder, oh my God, through this process, it was the mind. Keeping your mind, your heart, your faith, keeping yourself together between chemo brain and chemo brain fog and all the stuff that your body's going through. That was the ultimate test. And then you do come out of it changed. You come out of it where if a little thing comes your way, a little dart, whether it's in the form of an annoying person or situation or anything, it's a dart. You come back and go, I beat stage 4 cancer. What the heck am I worried about that? So it brings you back to a macro vision, and not to say you're not going to be affected by things, because we're always constantly working on our mindset to be strong and peaceful. It's constant work in progress, but it brings you into such a perspective. It gives you clarity and perspective, so you're less bothered by the small nonsense of life. You
The
know.
don't sweat the small stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't. I love that book, that classic. Don't sweat the small stuff, isn't it? That the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say, and reading your book, and I need to do this more
Uh-huh.
because there are times, and I've been kind of going through this right now where the small stuff is, I'm sweating it, and I get kind of wrapped up in the day-to-day life and everything. And sometimes we just need that reminder. And it's like, I think I'm just going to leave your book on my Kindle. And so
Aw.
when I start getting bogged down, because it's life, like
Yeah.
this life happens, and we get caught up in all of that, that sometimes we need that reminder. We need to go back to, hey, look at what I went through. Like, this is nothing. It's not a big deal, to help kind of reframe that mindset, because I think we
Mm.
all tend to just let the day-to-day life wear us down
Mhm.
until all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I beat stage 4 cancer. Like, why am I worried about, this guy who cut me off in traffic?
Yes, but you have the wisdom to see that, and I say this not to say that I'm immune from these things. Absolutely not. I see when my mind wants to take me to that place, and it's not easy, and I don't like it. And then we need, I'm like, oh God, really? And you, whatever the trigger is, or the situation, or the person in traffic, whatever it is, and it's the noticing that is the rise above. You notice it, and it's like, okay, and that's why I'll even sometimes pick up my book to remind myself, okay, come on, get out of your own way. And that's why there's other people's stories. That's why what you're doing with your podcast and so many other people's great books are the reminder that, holy cow, I got this. We need the community of storytelling so we can
Right.
get out of our overthinking of the me-ness of our world, to realize that we are a bigger, there's a we are the sky. But it's a work in progress. Trust me, I get those days too. But it's the noticing. I always like to say that part of the meditation, the meditation isn't about being in this glass box and you're void of any thoughts or any of those annoying emotions that come. I do not like those annoying emotions. It's how do I deal with them? So they come, you notice, your mind floated, and then you go, I see you. And then you come back to the power of your observation and bring you back. I beat this cancer, or I did so much, or you come as a champion for self. And then guess what? The mind goes again, and then you come back. And that process of return is a meditation in itself, where you eventually get to a point where the space was like this between stress and thoughts and peace. And then it becomes like this, like this. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, that little trigger doesn't, it takes longer to touch the core of you because
Okay.
you've practiced the practice. So
All right.
that to me has been helping a lot, you know?
That's good to hear, because and I'm guilty of this myself, that when I try and meditate, like, oh my gosh, if I can't, it's like I try and picture myself in this room with just white padded walls with like nothing, to go back to nothingness, to stay in nothingness. And like we don't do that. Like the
Mm-mm.
mind is always going. And and I personally, like, I feel like I'm doing it wrong
Mm.
if my mind wanders and stuff. And so it's so great to hear that that is part of it,
Mm-hmm.
is just the ability to come back to that nothingness when your mind wanders, and to notice it and not to make yourself wrong because your mind
Yes.
does wander.
100%. The return is the biggest, wisest step into coming back. And then you just keep going. When I teach, I always tell my students, it's okay if your mind floated off. Just notice and come back. Come back to the sound bowls, come back to the breath. And then that's okay. You go again and you come back, rather than, oh God, I suck at this, or oh, this is, oh, or being afraid of the thoughts. Now I see the scary thought. I go, I see you. What do you need from me right now? Does fear need a hug right now? It's like how do we illuminate those recesses in our mind so that it's we can overcome them with light, rather than being afraid, which removes our power. But we're never going to be perfect. Like, honestly, I wish I could be so detached, but it's just a process. And then you just notice, and then you soothe yourself, and you begin again, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are monks that spend all of their time doing this, and they still, their minds wander, and they
Yeah.
have to keep coming back. So if they can do it, then it's okay if I do it too.
Yes, totally. I
And I
agree.
loved your piece that you talk about, and I don't know if this is a meditation in itself, where you talk about breathing and taking the 3 deep breaths and doing it until you can take 3 undistracted breaths. And if you
Yes.
can't, then you go back to 1 again.
Yeah.
Although I wonder sometimes if I would just be breathing all day trying to do 3 undistracted breaths.
It's not easy. I'm telling you, because you breathe in, you're following it, you breathe out, and you can see in the background there's a thought. So then you have to start over. And I didn't make this up. I don't remember who taught me this or where I picked that up from. But it's nothing that I made up, but it stuck with me as such a great, simple, but hard exercise. So it's just like, okay, just concentrate, follow the in, follow the out. Can you follow the 3 truly with your full attention before thinking of something? Man, it's hard, but it's such a good practice to get you in the moment. And then the more you do it, listen, you get a little better, and then you get bad, and then you get good. It's just the way it is. It's the journey.
Well, you are inspiring me to try it again.
Just try, yeah.
All right. And so now so the non-Hodgkins that you did not have surgery, you had chemo instead.
Hmm.
And you talk a lot about, your 6 different rounds of chemo through, and the process. So, and it's not like to sum it up, but I would love to hear like 2 big either ahas or insights that you were able to get through your chemo process, to come out on the other side. Because, I
Mm.
mean, chemo sucks. Like, it sucks for everybody. The going through it sucks, the after it sucks. And I love how you were so excited when you got your PICC line taken out and stuff.
Yes.
But I mean, that was a big part of 2024 for you. So kind of what did you really get from your experience with chemo that you continue to take through today?
Mm. Oh gosh, that for some reason that makes me so emotional. The one thing I take away is that truly you are held by love, and that love is the most powerful force to get you through anything. whether it be cancer, whether it be a loss of someone you love, a change in your life, whatever. Love is the ultimate force. So I'm not religious, but I'm a spiritual person. I have no qualms saying, I thank God every day. I thank the universe. I thank that tree and the birds and whatever is dancing around me that was trying to usher me to the other side. So I really what is your best, what do I say in my book? Faith is the best four letter, the best F word is faith, basically. What is your faith? What can you hold on to when you're alone? And there's a lot of alone times. Um, so it really grew my expansion for leaning on love and faith. You know, I've had it. But there was something that really tested within this process. I don't know where I would be without great people that serve their wisdom about faith and courage. Like one of my favorite locations for meditation is the Self Realization Fellowship, brought over from India from Paramahansa Yogananda. He's got so many great teachings that the modern day, even Michael Beckwith, in his modern way, brings to spirituality. And, my whole point is leaning on love was a huge platform for me that I required, that I needed through the process that I carry through now. So when something bothers me, like we're saying, a trigger or a thing that happens, I come back to the power of love and God, the universe. And then the other thing is the power of the mind. And I really knew early on, I don't know why I had two flashcards in my head that sustained me through the dark pockets because it required a lot of patience. Chemotherapy and cancer teaches you, man, there's patience. You can't run through it. You can't. You gotta rock it out. You can't rush from day one chemo to day five. You just have to sit in this crap. You have to eat it. You just have to be with it. And so what helped me sustain that was mindset and visualization. So one of my visuals that I always would flash me in the head when I was like in a dark place, it would just boom, get me there, is I would have it's like a clip on repeat of me running on the beach healthy with my hair blowing in the wind. And immediately I would see it and boom, it would take away the fear seed. And then again, something's happening. It's the power of visual. What's that one visualization, that one image that is your quick flashcard to give you that saving grace to get you there. So faith and visualization was really key to fight the physical form of cancer, because cancer of the mind to me is harder than cancer of the body. I hope that answers your question.
It definitely does, but I want you to expand a little bit more on cancer of the mind versus cancer of the body. We all know what cancer of the body is, but expand a little bit on cancer of the mind and what you mean by that.
My gosh, cancer of the mind is a scary place. It's when your mind and negative thoughts and the inability to see forward, to see a better future, despite what's being served to you at the present, that keeps you in a dark place and that won't sustain and help your body to get the momentum it needs to heal forward. If that makes sense, so much science and study has shown you can have two plants. Okay, actually, you've done this study on water crystals. You play terrible music, say terrible words to the water. Guess what? The water creates such ugly crystals, like bad stuff. Then you're playing beautiful music, specific music like Sakura Sakura, an old Japanese folk song. This was a test seriously done. I don't know if it was 60s or 70s, don't quote me. Or when you talk beautiful words, I love you, water. Oh, you're so beautiful, water. Guess what? The water starts creating beautiful crystals. So what are we serving ourselves so that we can beat the cancer of the mind? And that's what I mean by cancer of the mind. And that requires practices like, are you listening to some positive things, podcasts, music? Are you feeding yourself positive words? What are you feeding yourself so that you can get through the cancer of the mind to help the body say, wow, my captain of the ship is steering me through some great waters. Then the body responds, the cells respond. You are the captain, pushing yourself through. You have a bad day, that's fine, but then you bring yourself, I got this. I am love, I am strong, we're getting healthier. So it's all the stuff that you're feeding so you can beat the cancer of the mind.
Love that. And I just want to show, I was looking, I
Yes, I know. You were looking.
Book. It's called The True Power of Water. And that
Oh,
is actually the studies, that were done. And they show
that's
for
the
people who are on
crystals.
video, the
Yes.
crystals of water when they're, said happy things versus like heavy metal music or, things like that. And it's just really fascinating to see the microscopic pictures
Isn't that
and see.
incredible?
Yeah, I know. And that's why I used to have a glass water bottle and I had stickers on it that said love and gratitude that I had stuck to the glass of the water to just infuse that
Mm.
with love and gratitude, which I need to do. I have metal now, but I need to put those back on there so
Oh,
it will go in. I mean, it's the same thing with plants too, right? You talk
yeah.
to plants, lovely. You play beautiful music, they grow like crazy, and
Yes.
we forget that same thing happens to us, whether it's other people talking to us or talking to ourselves.
Yeah. Especially during the process of fighting cancer, where your body is taking so much. How can you support your body, your best friend here? This body is taking you through life. How can you hug yourself and say, "You got this"? I would say, "Thank you, body." I would talk to my heart. I would cry when they would show me scans and I see my beating heart there. It blew me away because I thought, thank God that my heart is okay. The poor thing is just beating nonstop. It doesn't get a vacation. And as she's going through all this chemo, I till this day I say, thank you, body. Show it gratitude. You got this. And then you feed yourself. Can you put stuff that makes you laugh? Can you play music that, even if you're feeling kind of down, you play stuff that makes you feel good for your environment. These are all things that are quantified, scientifically proven, that will help your cancer of the mind to help your body right?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is not toxic positivity. This
No.
is true gratitude and being positive because it's good for your mind and your body.
Yes. And gratitude is the foundation of any great meditation or from the Tony Robbins to, I don't know, name me Deepak Chopra and all the masters. They all, I swear to you, listen, what are they? I start with gratitude.
Mhm.
Gratitude is the floor at your feet. Where do you go from there? Up, right? So, and it's hard to find gratitude sometimes through something like cancer, but what can you find gratitude for in the moment? I had many, sometimes the food is just terrible and you need a real coffee when you're in the hospital. And so I swear to you, people were surprised on my oncology teams for some reason. The Uber drivers, the Uber Eats, they would find me all the way in my room, deliver me a coffee and a bagel. And I would cry when they would come in and they would say, "Bless you," like, "Here you go." I'm like, "Bless you for coming all this way to deliver me a taste of heaven outside these walls." Coffee.
You were ordering from Uber Eats while you were in the hospital? That
At
is
least
awesome.
I had to treat myself at least once or twice during a visit where I just needed to taste something, you know what I mean, from outside the walls. But the gratitude, even for that moment, of a driver, he came up all the way to deliver me a freaking cup of coffee. So you have to find that little nugget of gratitude of somebody doing something, or you see something to feed your mind, or else then what happens with the cancer? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Gratitude is, I don't know, to me, it's the foundation of life. I have
Oh,
it tattooed on my arm
yes, that's
so I
so
never forget.
beautiful. Yeah.
Um, and I wake up, like I know you said in your book that before you go to bed, you would list 10 things that you're grateful for in your gratitude journal. I do it when I wake up in the morning. Like
Ah,
before I even get out of bed, I thank God for another day. And I like to at least, I do write things down too, but while I'm laying in bed before I even get up, I just go through 10 to 15 things that I'm grateful
mm,
for to just start my morning before I even get up because
mm.
it is more powerful than people can ever imagine.
Oh,
Just having that gratitude for the things in your life.
absolutely. I love that. And however you do it, and as long as you practice
Mhm.
it.
Right. Absolutely. All right,
Mm.
so we were talking about music. So I want to get into sound a little bit because this
Mhm.
is something that I'm really kind of just starting to learn about. And it sounds like you are just taking off with this, with everything with the global sound bath and everything. So talk to me a little bit about sound baths, what they are,
Mm.
what they do, the power, and where people can find sound baths in their own areas.
Oh my gosh, it's ancient, it's long standing, it's been used by so many ancient civilizations, and we're finding its way more and more into the modern landscape, into even corporate environments, into hospitals. It's becoming a serious part of healing. People are becoming more aware that it's not a hippy dippy thing, that it's just sound. No, our cells are receptive. We have worlds within worlds inside of us. I can't remember if we have 70 trillion cells or 60 trillion cells, but we have a lot of
A
cells.
lot.
And every 5 seconds, I think they're living and they're dying, they're birthing. There's this whole landscape of life happening inside of us, and they're receptive to sound. And it's funny that when I picked up the bowls, I deepened my love for sound midway through chemotherapy, and I was really immersing myself in it. That there was one study that showed that your cells become more receptive to chemotherapy when you do sound bath, when you are open to the crystal bowls. I do personally the crystal bowls and different sound elements. Then of course there's traditional Tibetan, the bowls, and there's all sorts of sounds. But your body is so susceptible. It's been proven to even help you outside of cancer, PTSD, to bring you into a parasympathetic nervous system state, which is the calming nervous system, which allows you to heal, gets you out of the chronic stress. It allows you to clear space in your mind from the thinking, which can create rumination and put you in a tizzle, and allow for some space to to breathe, some gaps in your brain to just be present. So there's just so much. I can go on and on, but it's incredible how it's becoming much more and more prevalent in our landscape now. People are starting to study and quantify it, and this is where I come in with Global Sound Bath. We're doing something really revolutionary. I've been brought on board as sound curator and program the lead director with two incredible minds, Sandra Tribioli and Melissa Rosen, and they've came up with this incredible vision of a 4-day continuous sound bath where we're going to actually map and study how people come when they enter the space to what are they like after. How is your brain more relaxed? How is your cellular life? How is, and so it's incredible to bring all these incredible, how do I say, modalities into a more modern space. It's no longer hippy dippy. How do we marry science? Because I'm all about, listen, I wouldn't be here without my chemotherapy, but I married that with this modality, with the sound. And my team was so great and open about it. How do we integrate so we can celebrate a newer way of healing? You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and you asked me a good question, Melissa. Where can people find it? Well, you guys are welcome to come join us in Miami, December 4 to 7. But a lot of cities are just Google sound bathing in your city. And I hope that people will find it in their cities popping up more and more. But it's becoming more widely available.
So can you tell us a little bit about like what a sound bath experience
Yeah.
is? Like
Yes.
what do we do? What do we experience? That kind of thing.
It's very simple. All you do is arrive and you just lie down. I've done it in corporate environments where some people they want to sit. You can even sit, close your eyes, just listen. So simple. You just listen and receive. It's like sitting under a tree. It's like sitting by the waves. So my sound bathing that I do for myself as outside of my obvious the bowls is I take myself to the ocean. I'm like at least once a week I have to sit by the ocean for where I live. And I sit and I just listen to the waves because the waves are very healing nature. So all it is you just lie down and you receive. You allow and you listen. You allow your body that reset. You trust that your cells and your mind is receiving all the beautiful equalizing and harmonizing tones in your body. Yeah, it's not complex. We
Ugh.
are complex, I think.
Yes, we are.
But
And we
sound
like to
brings,
make things complex.
yes, and then sound brings us back to nature, which is so powerful in its simplicity.
Wow.
You know?
And the ocean is a big one for me too.
Yeah.
Although being in Colorado, don't
Ah,
really have that. So mine is now like little waterfalls.
yes.
Not even necessarily big waterfalls. There's one on one of the trails that I walk on. It's maybe 6 feet high and it's
Beautiful.
just a trickle of a waterfall. But I love just walking to that and sitting and just listening to the water move because it's
Mm,
water is healing and the sound just I don't know. I need to find a waterfall next to an ocean so I can have both.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I'll send you some videos that I captured from last weekend. There was a little cove, and the water just kept going into it and then pulling out, and just like, and the sound was so I slept so good because you know what, your body is trying to match the sound that it's processing, that it's hearing, and so that's why you feel really good after being by the water, by the ocean, because you're trying to match that sound, and that sound is such pure, incredible vibration. And the same can be said about the sound that's created by somebody like me or a sound bather out there in the world. You're taking in the sounds, and your body's just trying to harmonize with that.
I'm gonna
I
have to
try
go
to.
check this out. I've never experienced it before, so I'm
Oh,
very, very excited to try it out.
yes, check it out. Maybe there's something in town for you there.
I'm sure there is. I live in Colorado. We got all
Yeah,
kinds of hippy dippy kind of things.
totally. I think you'll like it. And there's all sorts of sounds. So, I mean, there's traditional sounds and gongs and things like that. And then there's more the modern sounds, like the crystal singing bowls came out of the 80s. And so, and the bowls are incredible, almost 100% quartz crystal, which is really incredible for our bodies. And so there's so many different sounds. You find something that speaks to you, and then you just allow the vibrations to just work their magic in your soul, in your body.
And it just really is a great complement to conventional treatments and medicine, just to help with, let the medicine do its thing. And I'm going to work on healing everything else in the meantime.
Yes, which is something I really believed through my long rounds of treatment last year. And my doctors were really amazing. They allowed that. I don't begrudge the medicine, and I don't begrudge the other stuff. It's how do we bring it together? Use your wisdom. Yeah, to create space and peace. Let it all support each other.
Right. And it doesn't have to be an either or.
No.
I don't know if I told you I'm a chiropractor by trade. I retired several years ago,
Yeah.
and going through chiropractic school, it was very much chiropractic good, medicine bad.
Wow.
And I spent, the first several years in practice, like, no, you don't need this. All you need is chiropractic, and you'll be fine. And, fortunately I learned. And I mean, there are still some things about modern medicine that I don't love. And I'm sure we all kind of feel that way, but it definitely has its place.
Mm.
And that's why they call it integrative health, because they can integrate and work together versus one or the other. You don't have to choose
Mm-hmm.
anymore. You can do it all.
Mm-hmm. We're lucky, and the thing is, we're lucky to be living in this time because there's so much more at our fingertips. I mean, for those that are tuning in, maybe going through the cancer journey or starting off, I mean, there's a lot of great sound bathers. For example, you go on YouTube, there's some people, you can have hours of, we have things at our fingertips. So it's a really powerful time for the individual's autonomy to choose from all the modalities out there to really empower your healing. And we don't have to villainize one or the other. I think that's the problem in life. Most times it's like it's so polarizing. It has to be this or that, or has to, no, how could I use my wisdom? I want to do the supplements here, and I want to do this. Like, how can we just be open? And through the openness there's expansion, and then there's so much beauty that can come out of that. We get stuck in the rigidity of things. So we're lucky to be living in this time. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, you didn't do chemo, right?
Mm-mm.
Right. But they would tell me stories about chemo from the 80s versus chemo now, like the
Yeah.
development. So, we're living in a good time for all
Yes.
these things.
And I think it's only going to get better
Yeah.
as research continues. And I think AI, say what you will about it, I think it's going to be very powerful in the
Mm-hmm.
medical field to help people either cure or recover or get the right treatments or whatever it is. I think, it's an exciting time
Mm-hmm.
in the world right now with all the advancements and research that's being done right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree.
Awesome. Well, Sandy, where can people find you? If people want to reach out to you, if people want to get to know you better, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Oh my gosh, my everything is at cancerramblings.com. My book, the wellness stuff I do, my creative stuff, even Global Sound Bath. You can find the link through cancerramblings.com, or you go to globalsoundbath.com. And yeah, I have a weekly newsletter that I do, which is from especially curated from my experience and things that have helped me and stories. So if your viewers want to, receive a free weekly e-letter in their inbox, they can just subscribe there. And it's just a joy to share whatever helped me somehow help someone out there. We're not alone. And that's why I love what you're doing, Melissa, the importance of shared stories make us feel, because a lot of people feel alone through this. It's normal and it's scary, and nobody tells you you're going to go to class of cancer. There's no preparation. Where do I sign up? Like, there's no, I was so like, I didn't know anything. What? I thought I'd be done my chemo in a month. And then they told me, no, you're here till almost August. I said, what? So through these conversations and information, we illuminate the dark together. So yeah, they can find me there. And thank you. Thank you for what you do. It's been such a joy to chat with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then one last question that I ask all of my guests. So if you came across someone who is just starting on this cancer journey, or maybe in the overwhelm of a diagnosis, kind of what is one piece of advice that you would give to that person to just kind of help them get through, especially the early stages?
Mm-hmm. My one thing that is so transformative, and I swear it helped me, it helped a fellow patient that is now a good friend of mine. I imparted this to her, is do not live in the why me for too long. Why did this happen? Just allow that 24 hours, 2 days, and then discard all of that and just make that action plan, that decision in your mind that I don't need to know why this happened, why me. I'm going to figure out and move forward. You start focusing on these solutions, on the healing. You forget the rumination of the mind going, why did this happen? I'm so healthy. Why? When we live in why me, it takes us back. It does not progress you forward. So allow yourself a few moments, give yourself that little window and then say, I'm done. Tomorrow, this can't happen anymore. No thinking about it, no crying about it. We're going to move forward. And that's taking charge of your ship as the captain of your healing, of your life, of this situation. It really helped me. I swear to you, I write it in my book. I'm going to show you. This is my book. This was me. I mean,
there it is.
This is me. Well, I kind of want to go back to that no hair look.
You always can.
But I write about it, and I experienced it. Like, I gave myself just that little window, and then I didn't let anybody even ask me why. But why did this happen to you? Nurses, family, friends. No more whys. Don't ask me. Move on. That's a very powerful, transformative place to start. Yeah.
Love that. Well, it gets you out of victimhood too.
Yeah.
And into responsibility, and how do we go forward from here?
And into your warrior mindset. I am a warrior. I am strong. Change that mindset. Use this as a battle to get you to the other side of yourself. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sandy, today. I appreciate it. And I always love chatting with you. And this was so powerful. And good luck with your book and your global sound bath. I'm so excited. I may have to take a trip to Miami in December. It's been a while since I've been there.
Hey, good memories for you in your school days, maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a lot of fun back then, way too many years ago.
Thank you, Melissa.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.